Hi there, it's Babs here from Babs Gets Crafty, and today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet a basic ripple. This is a very popular design. It's really simple, and you can really play around with it to create your own take on how to ripple. Now for this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create the increases, which is this little part here. So we have the increased stitches, which give us that hill, the little point at the top of the ripple, and then we're also going to be showing you how to do the decrease, which is this quite pretty 3-into-1 decrease for this particular example, and you can see it alternates between rows as to which direction it's pointing. So I shall jump on in and show you how we start the ripple and then how we continue it on. Now the key thing about the ripple is that it is based off of a treble in the UK or a double in US terminology. So we're going to start off by chaining 2, and then we're going to work into the same stitch. So it's yarn over. I'm working in the back of the loop for the moment because that's what gives me this terraced texture, which I really like, but it's not necessary. You can just work through a regular loop if you wish. And then you pull through the first 2 loops, except this yarn is not necessarily the best, right? So you pull through the first 2 loops and then you pull through the second 2 loops, and that's how you create a double or a treble, depending on whether you're using US or UK terminology. So I'm just going to work my way down, always working in the same stitch, the same treble stitch. I'll use UK for the rest of this tutorial. And so you just stitch your way down. You can follow the pattern for the number of stitch counts that you need, or, and this is what I'm about to show you, you can actually see, because they're going to be centered over the previous decreased stitch. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So here we have, this is our decreased stitch. You can see that all of those stitches are going into one, and then we have 1 stitch to the right, the stitch with everybody going into it, and then 1 stitch to the left. And these are the 3, you can see those 3 stitches there that we're going to work together. And so we start off with a yarn over, and we work into the first stitch, but we only work the first half of the treble. So it's yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then we yarn over and move straight on to the second stitch, pull through, yarn over, and we're going to work again those first 2 loops only, and then yarn over and into our third stitch for our decrease, and pull through those first 2 loops. So this gives us 4 loops on our hook, and now we're going to work the final part through all 4 stitches. So we have created that 1 stitch out of 3. And you can see it's now leaning, all these stitches are now leaning. And then we move on to our next batch of just bog standard doubles or trebles, depending upon your terminology. And we go up the hill this time. So we've worked on the dip, and now we're moving back up the hill. And this is really simple. And increases is very simple to work, much simpler than the decreases. Nearly there. And again, you're going to be working in the center of the 3 stitches that you create. So these are the 3 stitches that were created the last time around. And if you look into the top of them, I've already worked the first of those 3, which means this is the middle of the 3, and this is where I'm now going to do 3 stitches in 1. If I can manage to do a proper treble. So it's 3 stitches in 1 stitch. So we've got 1, and we're staying in that same stitch. 2, and again back in the same stitch. It looks rather odd because it's all stretched out of place the first time you do it, but it settles down very nicely. As you continue to work on. So it looks like you've got this massive hole, it looks like it's sticking up at a really bizarre angle, but you're actually going to be fine. And as you begin to stitch back down towards the next to the next crochet 3 together, you will find that that stitch has already evened itself out and is looking more in keeping with everything else, rather than being that strange effect. So we've got a work 3 together, and we've got an increase 3. So we've got a decrease 3 and an increase 3. So I'll just show you the decrease 3 one more time, because it is a strange looking thing, whereas the increase 3 is really very, very straightforward. It's just work 3 in one stitch, or work 4 in one stitch if you're increasing 4, and so on and so forth. So let's see. I'm here. Here's my center stitch that was decreased last time. You can see all of those stitches decreased into one. So we're going to work on the stitch to the right of it, and we're just going to go through the first part, but we're going to leave the second part. We're not going to complete that double or treble. Yarn over, and we're going to do that again, the first half of the stitch, and then one more time the first half of the stitch, and then the second half of the stitch. Once we have the 4 loops on our hook, is going to be worked through all 4 loops. So we simply close off that stitch in one simple movement, and that really is all there is to do, that you need to know to work a ripple. It is that simple, and then you get this beautiful zigzag effect, and you can play around with the types of increases, the number of stitches that you increase and decrease. You can try playing with more intense stretches, and you can decrease more additional stitches to get a sharper V. The more stitches that you increase or decrease by, the sharper that V becomes, and the less, the more open and flat it's capable of being. So have a play around if you like, or you can follow the patterns that I've already got written up for free on Babs Gets Crafty. But either way, hopefully this will have shown you how simple it is to actually work a ripple stitch. So until next time, I'll speak to you later. Bye for now.